Hey friends, Scott Smith with the Smith team at Keller Williams. Wanted to touch on a subject that does come into play with our real estate business, and that is divorce. And unfortunately, divorce is a life event that comes into play. As we've heard, the statistics that half of the marriages end up in divorce, unfortunately. And how does that impact the real estate in the equation, whether it be a buy or a sell? Many of those marriages that they do have a home that they have to sell potentially or liquidate. So I wanted to touch on a couple of points that we've encountered in our 30 years of real estate experience and helping our clients navigate the divorce and trying to keep the real estate out of a messy equation that is not pleasant. So just a couple things to consider when we have a client that is going through a divorce and there is real estate involved with it. The first question is one of the spouses going to end up keeping the real estate, or do they need to sell it? And that might be if there's family involved with that, with kids. Maybe one of the spouses wants to retain the asset and stay there. One of the things to consider with that is there's equity in that property, and how do they liquidate the equity? The other part of that equation is there a mortgage involved with that? Because if one person is going to stay at the property and buy out the other partner, that mortgage will still stay on their the leaving spouse's credit, and it shows up as a liability, and they don't have any interest in the property. So that is certainly something to consider for those people that are getting a divorce. If they're getting bought out, they want to make sure that that mortgage is taken care of and that is no longer shows up on their credit report. So the big question with that is, are they going to stay or are they going to sell? So if we are moving forward with liquidating that asset and having to sell the property, it's obviously delicate, and how those proceeds are going to be split. And that is spelled out in a divorce decree. Another component to consider is when you're selling, then one of the spouses or both spouses potentially are going to be buying a property. In Minnesota, we have a kind of a rule that's what we call in real estate, 1 to buy and 2 to sell. And we've been working with a couple of clients lately that are going through that situation where they're selling their property, but they want to get into a place right away and avoid sometimes a double or even a triple move where they have to find short-term housing before they can find their current property. So they want to try and streamline it as much as possible. But if they end up buying a property, you want to make sure that the divorce decree is finalized because we talk about that 1 to buy and 2 to sell. If that person was to buy a property before the divorce is finalized, then that spouse or soon-to-be ex-spouse would actually have spousal rights to that property. So the state of Minnesota recognizes that spousal rights. It's 1 to buy and 2 to sell. So going out and buying a property before a divorce decree is finalized could automatically put that other spouse on the title to that property, and it creates a whole other set of circumstances that we would have to navigate with that. So there are some opportunities where someone can refinance out of the property and retain it, and then the other spouse gets their equity and they move on. So divorce certainly isn't something that is a pleasant experience for anyone that's gone through one. Those clients we've helped navigate it, it's not a pleasant experience, but it is certainly an opportunity for to move on with their life and help navigate the real estate part of the equation. We're more than happy to help our clients with that. It's delicate, and it's also one of those things that from a professional standpoint, we take pride in helping our clients go through that process and making sure that it is smooth and is avoiding the unpleasantness that can be involved with it. So certainly reach out to us. We're happy to help with some insight and advice on options when it comes to navigating the real estate through a divorce situation. Reach out to us, 651-777-3434. We'll be happy to help navigate that process. Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.